Picture this, February 20th, 2026. While the world is watching the usual political chess moves, something else is happening, something much bigger. A deal has just been signed that's about to completely rewrite the rules for India's military, and maybe even shift the balance of power across the entire Indo-Pacific. And you're gonna wanna stay till the end, because some of the hidden strategies behind this are truly shocking. So let's get back to the story. You know, what we're looking at here is a story that's been bubbling under the surface for years. On paper, it's an announcement. Indian industrial giant Mahindra and Brazil's aerospace titan Embraer are teaming up. They're going to build a full-blown maintenance, repair, and overhaul hub, an MRO facility for the C-390 Millennium transport plane, right here in India. But this isn't just another business deal. Make no mistake, this is a declaration of intent. And to really get why this is such a huge deal, you first have to understand the corner the Indian Air Force, the IAF, is in right now. They're at a massive crossroads. You see, their workhorse fleet of Soviet-era Antonov An-32s, well, they've served their country well, but their time is up. They're from a totally different era of warfare. So finding a replacement isn't just about buying new planes. It's about finding the very backbone of India's airlift capability for decades to come. And the price tag? It's astronomical. We're talking a multi-billion-dollar contract for somewhere between 40 and 80 aircraft. And the contenders? Well, it's a real clash of the titans. In one corner, you've got the living legend, the Lockheed Martin C-130J Super Hercules. The IAF already uses it, they know it, they trust it. In the other corner, you have the heavyweight, the Airbus A400M, a monster of a plane that can carry almost anything. And then you've got the challenger from Brazil, the Embraer C-390 Millennium. For a long time, it was kind of seen as the dark horse. But this new MRO deal, it completely changes the entire game.
So let's zoom in on the aircraft itself. How on earth did the C-390 earn a nickname as aggressive as the Hercules killer? Well, it really all boils down to a fundamentally different approach to design, one that was built from the ground up for the battlefields of today, not yesterday.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. Just look at the engines. The C-130J, it flies on turboprops. It's proven technology, it's reliable for sure. But the C-390 uses pure jet turbofans, the same kind you'd see on a modern passenger jet. This isn't just a minor upgrade, people. This is a full-on generational leap. It means the C-390 flies faster, it flies higher, and it behaves more like a tactical jet freighter than a classic transport plane. And all of that makes it way harder for an enemy to spot and even harder to shoot down. And all that jet tech translates into one thing that matters more than almost anything else: speed. The C-390 cruises at a blistering 470 knots. That's about 870 kilometers an hour. Its turboprop rivals, they max out around 350, maybe 360 knots. So why is that such a big deal? Because on a modern battlefield, speed is survival. It means less time in the danger zone, it means getting troops and supplies where they need to be faster, and it means getting wounded soldiers out of the fight quicker. It literally changes the entire pace of a conflict. But of course, speed doesn't mean a thing if you can't carry the heavy stuff. The C-390 can haul a whopping 26 metric tons. So what does that look like in the real world? Well, it means you can drive 2 M111 armored personnel carriers right up the ramp. It means you can fit an entire Indian Army Cheetah helicopter in the back without taking it apart. It means you can carry massive firefighting systems. This thing has the muscle to back up its hustle.
But here's the secret weapon, the real ace up its sleeve. Every single C-390 is built from day one to be an in-flight refueling tanker. With just a few hours of work, you can turn this cargo plane into a flying gas station. Now think about that. For a country like India with its enormous and challenging borders, from the highest mountains to the vast ocean, this is an absolute game changer. It means your fighter jets, your Rafales, your Su-30 MKIs can stay on patrol for way longer, pushing their combat range out further without needing a whole separate multi-billion-dollar fleet of dedicated tanker aircraft. Okay, so you can have the best plane in the world, but that's still only half the equation. Embraer knew that to win this massive contract, they couldn't just sell a product, they had to become a partner. And for that, they went to one of the biggest names in Indian industry, Mahindra. And this partnership isn't just for show. It's designed to plug right into the heart of India's biggest national goals: Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat, which means a self-reliant India. The message from the Indian government is loud and clear. We are done just buying fancy military gear off the shelf. We want the technology, we want local manufacturing, and we want to maintain it ourselves. The days of just being a customer are over. India is ready to be a creator.
Which brings us right back to that three-letter acronym, MRO: maintenance, repair, and overhaul. It sounds technical, maybe a little boring, right? Wrong. This is the strategic core of the whole deal. For decades, if a complex piece of Indian military tech needed a serious fix, it often had to be shipped all the way back to Russia or France or the US. Think about that vulnerability. What happens in a war if your enemy cuts off that supply line? You're grounded. So MRO isn't about wrenches and spare parts. MRO is about sovereignty. So this is what the Mahindra Embraer MRO Hub puts on the table. 3 game-changing promises. First, it's just plain cheaper to maintain a plane in India than to fly it halfway across the world. That means lower costs over the life of the aircraft. Second, you get way more planes in the air. Turnaround times for repairs get cut from months down to weeks. And third, and this is the really ambitious part, India becomes a service hub for the rest of the world. Because this deal, it's not really about hangars and airplanes. It's about geopolitics. It's the signal of a new kind of alliance, a new axis of power that's being built completely outside the old Cold War structures. Think about it. Both India and Brazil are heavyweights in the BRICS group and are seen as leaders of the global south. For years, India has had to perform this delicate balancing act, buying weapons from Russia, from the West. This partnership with Brazil, a powerful but politically neutral nation, is an absolute masterstroke. There are no political strings attached here. This is what South-South cooperation looks like in the real world. It's a statement that says, we don't need to depend on the old powers anymore. We can build our own high-tech future. And that ambition to become a global hub, that's not just a dream. Embraer has already sold the C-390 to countries like Portugal, Hungary, Austria, and, importantly, to South Korea. Once this world-class MRO facility is up and running in India, where do you think all those planes in the Indo-Pacific and the Middle East will go for service? It's the most logical, most cost-effective choice. India won't just be maintaining its own fleet, it'll be exporting advanced aerospace services to its allies. And that leads us to the final, and maybe most profound piece of the puzzle. The economic shockwave this whole thing is going to create right here in India. We are talking about building an entire industrial ecosystem from scratch. You see, an MRO hub isn't just one big building. It's the center of a huge web. It means thousands of high-tech jobs for engineers and expert technicians. But even more than that, it ignites a whole supply chain. Hundreds of smaller Indian businesses, the MSMEs, will be needed to make everything from wiring to landing gear components. This is how you build a real modern defense industry. This is how you gain the knowledge to one day design your own next-generation aircraft. So it all comes down to this, the final showdown. The Indian Air Force has a choice to make. Do they go with the C-130J Hercules? The legend. It's proven, it's familiar, but its design is old. Do they go with the Airbus A400M? The heavy lifter. It can carry incredible loads, but it costs a fortune. Or do they choose the C-390 Millennium? It's a newer plane, sure, but its edge is now speed, modern tech, and, thanks to Mahindra, that absolute killer advantage, a domestic MRO hub that guarantees true self-reliance. When you lay it all out, the picture becomes incredibly clear. What Mahindra and Embraer have done here isn't just a sales pitch. It's a masterclass in strategic thinking. It gives the Indian Air Force a plane that's fast, modern, and incredibly versatile. But it gives them something much more important. It gives them a clear path to making that aircraft truly Indian. So now the question is for you. What's the right call? The legend versus the game changer? Should the Indian Air Force play it safe with the tried and true C-130 Hercules? Or should they go all in on the C-390's complete package of speed, technology, and strategic independence? Let me know what you think down in the comments. This is a huge development, so make sure you subscribe to the channel for all the latest updates. And if you found this interesting, check out the video coming up on your screen right now.